season's a wrap, but Adam Peters just gave us a glimpse of the future. While Jayden Daniels is stuck on the sideline with that wrist injury, while Luke McCaffrey breaks his collarbone, while everything feels like it's falling apart, let me tell you this. The general manager already has a firecracker of a plan for the 2026 draft. And guess what? It involves an edge rusher out of Clemson who's blowing up explosiveness charts. But that's not all, because with McCaffrey out, a rookie is about to get the shot of a lifetime to prove whether they really belong in this league. And if you thought that was wild, wait till you hear the bombshell surrounding Frankie Luvu and how the NFL tried to make an example out of him. You ready to find out what's next for these Commanders? Stick around, because it's about to get good. After years of watching this team struggle without a consistent pass rush, after entire seasons where our edge rushers disappeared in crunch time, we finally see a light at the end of the tunnel. And that light has a name, T.J. Parker from Clemson. Look, I know what you're thinking. Marcus, the season's not even over and we're already talking draft? You bet we are. Because Adam Peters didn't sell off assets at the trade deadline, and that tells me one thing loud and clear: this man is already locked in on April 2026. And according to Fansided's post-deadline mock draft, the Commanders are projected to take this explosive edge rusher from Clemson with the 10th overall pick. And you know why that's awesome? Because our pass rush is in shambles. Dorrance Armstrong Jr. was having a career year, setting personal bests, and BAM, season-ending knee injury. Who else do we have? Nobody. Commanders. The cupboard is bone dry. Peters basically ignored this position last offseason, and now we're paying the price. But here's what's interesting about T.J. Parker. Clemson has been a total mess this year, one of the biggest underachievers in college football. But every time this kid is on the field, I see nothing but raw explosion. The sack numbers aren't there, sure, but you know why? Because the Tigers have been trailing so much that teams just run the ball. When Parker gets a shot to rush the passer, he's always around the action. Let me break it down for you. Parker was a 4-star recruit who's polished his technique to an elite level. His get-off is lightning quick, his bend around the edge is smooth, and his motor never quits. Does he need to clean up his open field tackling? Absolutely. But all the physical tools to be a game-changer are there. Now let me ask you this. What did the Cowboys do with Micah Parsons? They put him in a position to succeed right away. What did the Eagles do with Hasten Reddick before he left? Turned him into a pro bowler. While Jerry Jones keeps throwing money at washed-up vets, while the Giants are still desperately searching for an edge rusher since Kayvon Thibodeau didn't pan out, we might be sitting on the piece that transforms our entire defense. You think this is a coincidence? I don't. Peters only has 6 picks in this draft, which makes every single one absolutely crucial. And if he's using that 10th pick on an edge rusher, it better be someone who can contribute from day one. Parker is 20 years old, he's young, he's moldable, and he's got that chip on his shoulder after watching Clemson flop this season. Look at the historical comps. When Washington took Chase Young 2nd overall in 2020, we all thought we had the next great one. Defensive Rookie of the Year, instant impact. But what happened? Injuries, inconsistency, and eventually a trade. The difference with Parker is he's coming from a program that consistently churns out edge talent: Clelin Ferrell, Austin Bryant, Shaq Lawson. Clemson knows how to develop this position. And here's the kicker: depending on what Peters does in free agency, this could be his biggest move of the offseason. If he signs a veteran edge rusher to pair with Parker, the kid can grow without the pressure of being the guy right away. If he doesn't sign anyone, then Parker's gonna have to produce from day one. But you know what I love about all this? We finally have a general manager who gets it. You can't win in this league without an elite pass rush. Look at the Niners with Nick Bosa, the Browns with Myles Garrett, even the Eagles with their edge rotation. All those defenses are built around getting to the quarterback. Let me tell you this, if Peters drafts T.J. Parker in April, it could be the move that defines this new era of Commanders football. Because it's one thing to have Jayden Daniels leading the offense, but if we can't stop Jalen Hurts, if we can't pressure Dak Prescott, if we can't make Daniel Jones look like the $40 million quarterback the Giants thought he was, then we're never going to compete in this division. The 2025 season is toast, no doubt. But the future, Commanders, the future looks bright if Peters pulls this off. What do you think? Is T.J. Parker the answer to our pass rush woes, or should we target another position with that 10th pick? And if that caught you off guard, wait till you hear this, because while everyone's looking ahead, there's a rookie who's got the chance of a lifetime right now. Injuries are killing us, Commanders. And I'm not exaggerating. Jayden Daniels with the wrist, Marshawn Lattimore with the torn ACL, and now Luke McCaffrey with a broken collarbone on the opening kickoff against Seattle. Can you believe that? The opening kickoff. Didn't even get a chance to touch the ball on offense. McCaffrey was having a breakout year. With Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown missing time, Luke had become our big play threat. He was on track to make the Pro Bowl as a returner, making plays downfield, and just like that, season over. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is huge for the future of this franchise. With McCaffrey out, who's got to step up? Jaylen Lane, our 4th-round pick out of Virginia Tech. Now let me ask you, have you watched Jaylen Lane play this year? If you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This kid's had his ups and downs. He's caught 14 passes for 171 yards. He's been our main punt returner, even scored a special teams touchdown against the Raiders in Week 3. But he's also had drops, fumbles, and that typical rookie inconsistency. And you know what? That's okay. Because the only way Lane gets better is by playing more snaps. And now, with McCaffrey on IR, he's going to get that chance. Let me give you some context. Lane's already seen more snaps than your average mid-round receiver thanks to all the injuries in our receiving core. Now he's basically our number 2 wideout, though Treylon Burks, just promoted from the practice squad, might push for that role. But here's the thing, and this is critical, with all playoff hopes out the window, Lane has a low-pressure opportunity to grow before the Commanders shift focus to contending in 2026 and beyond. This is his audition for the future. Look at what happened with Terry McLaurin. When he came in as a 3rd-rounder in 2019, this team was a mess. Dwayne Haskins was the quarterback, the coaching staff was a disaster, but Terry got the chance to play right away and prove himself. Now he's one of the best receivers in the league. I'm not saying Jaylen Lane is the next Terry McLaurin, but what I am saying is that Washington needs to see growth from its internal core to hit its long-term goals. And Lane could be one of those pieces. Would it be ideal if Jayden Daniels were the one throwing him the ball? Of course. But Marcus Mariota is one of the best backups in the league. He's going to spread the ball around, get everyone involved, and it'll be good for the rookie to learn from a steady veteran presence. Now let's compare this to the rest of the NFC East. The Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb, but who else? Brandon Cooks is aging, and their rookies aren't stepping up. The Eagles have A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, but if one of them goes down, their depth is shaky. The Giants have Malik Neighbors, who's having a stellar rookie year, but beyond him, nothing. If Lane can develop into a reliable number 2 or 3 receiver, that gives Peters flexibility in the draft and free agency. He won't have to burn premium resources on the position if he's got McLaurin, Brown when he's back, and Lane showing promise. But here's what worries me, the drops. Lane's got elite speed, his route running is improving, but those drops are unacceptable in the NFL. Doesn't matter how fast you are, doesn't matter how open you get, if you can't catch the ball consistently, you won't stay on the field. Let me tell you this, the next few months are going to be huge in figuring out Lane's ceiling in the NFL. Does he have the physical tools? Absolutely. Does he have the speed to be a deep threat? No doubt. But does he have the hands, the focus, and the mental consistency to be a starter in this league? That's still up in the air. Look, this season's a wash. We all know it. But these last few games are crucial to see which young guys can contribute next year. Lane's going to get every chance to prove he belongs in this team's future plans. What do you think, Commanders? Can Jaylen Lane seize this opportunity and become a reliable weapon for Jayden Daniels in 2026, or do we need to hit the draft and free agency for more wide receiver talent? But that's nothing compared to what's coming, because while Lane's getting a shot, there's a veteran caught in the middle of a storm of controversy with the NFL. You're out of your mind if you think Frankie Luvu is a dirty player. And I'll defend him to the end because I've followed his game since his Carolina Panthers days. This week, Luvu's been all over the headlines, and not for the right reasons. He was initially suspended 1 game after his 3rd hip drop tackle of the season in Week 9 against Seattle. The suspension got overturned on appeal, but he still got slapped with a $100,000 fine. That's a lot of money, but way less than the $500,000 he would have lost missing a full game. Now, the dirty player accusations are flying. And let me tell you this, that's complete BS. I've covered Luvu's career since he signed with Carolina, and I've never, ever seen anything malicious in how he plays. Does he play on the edge? Absolutely. Is he physical? Of course. Is he aggressive? No doubt. But dirty? No. And anyone who's played with him or been around him knows that. Luvu made it clear in an interview with Scott Abraham from 7 News DC. Listen to what he said. Everything I've worked for is out there. My family's watching. My peers are watching and saying, we don't respect Frankie Luvu because he's dirty. My teammates know who I am. The people around me know who I am, as a player and as a person. I never go out there trying to hurt someone. I try to play the right way. And you know what? I believe him. Because I've seen his game. This guy is a relentless, instinctive force who had career highs with the Commanders last season. Second-team All-Pro, one of the top linebackers in the league in 2024. Now, things haven't gone as well this year. His role shifted, the defense has been inconsistent, and now he's got this cloud hanging over him. But here's my concern. This cannot affect how Luvu approaches the game. He needs to stay dynamic, aggressive, and impactful. If he starts second-guessing, if he hesitates on tackles out of fear of suspension or reputation damage, that's only going to hurt his impact even more. And this defense needs Luvu at full throttle. Look at the history of hip-drop tackles in the NFL. The league's been trying to phase them out because they're dangerous. They can cause serious injuries. I get that. But I also get that in the heat of the moment, when you're trying to bring down a 230-pound running back at full speed, you can't always control how the tackle ends. And you know what ticks me off? The NFL's trying to make an example out of someone mid-season. If you're going to enforce this rule hard, do it from week 1. Don't wait till November and start suspending guys. Now compare this to other teams in the division. Micah Parsons plays with the same fire as Luvu, but you never hear him called dirty. TJ Edwards is physical in the middle for the Eagles, but no controversy there. Why? Because Luvu's an easy target. He's not a household name like Parsons, doesn't have the same media shield. Let me tell you this, Washington's coaching staff and players need to rally around Luvu. They need to keep him mentally locked in, because if this starts messing with his head, if he starts playing hesitant, this defense is going to fall apart even more. And you know what's ironic? While everyone's busy calling Luvu dirty, nobody's talking about how this defense has completely collapsed. We're ranked near the bottom in third down defense, our pass rush is non-existent without Armstrong, and our secondary is giving up chunk plays every week. Luvu isn't the problem. The problem is we don't have enough talent around him. The problem is Peters didn't invest enough in the defense last offseason. The problem is we're trying to compete with an aging roster that's clearly on the decline. But here's the thing, Luvu is a physical player. That's his identity. And that should not change just because the NFL wants to make an example out of someone mid-season. If he starts playing soft, if he starts pulling up on tackles, then we're really in trouble. Look at what happened to Brandon Merriweather years ago. After all the fines and controversy, he changed his playing style, and he was never the same. I don't want that to happen to Luvu. What do you think, Commanders? Is Frankie Luvu a dirty player who deserves these fines and the initial suspension, or is he being unfairly targeted by the NFL? Should he change his playing style to avoid future drama, or keep bringing the same intensity that made him an All-Pro? Look, Commanders, this season's been brutal. Injuries have wrecked us, controversies distracted us, and the results on the field have been disappointing. But here's what I know, the future of this franchise is still bright. Adam Peters has a plan. Whether it's drafting TJ Parker to fix our pass rush, giving Jaylen Lane the chance to grow into a core piece, or standing by Frankie Luvu when the league's coming after him, this front office is building something special. But I need you to understand something. This isn't just a news channel. This is a family. A community of passionate Commanders fans who've suffered together, celebrated together, and who are gonna rise back to the top together. So here's my question for you. Which of these 3 stories do you want me to dive deeper into in the next videos? More draft analysis? Rookie development updates? Or more defense of our players when the league tries to make them scapegoats? Let me know in the comments. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're the #1 source for deep Commanders analysis, blending fan passion with technical knowledge you won't find anywhere else. Hit like if you think TJ Parker is the answer to our problems. Subscribe if you want to see Jaylen Lane succeed. And share this video if you agree that Frankie Luvu is not a dirty player. See you in the next video, Commanders. And remember, hail to the Redskins!